Hey there, my name is Dominga and I'm a mother of multiples. And thanks for tuning into my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit more on my peripartum cardiomyopathy. If you haven't checked out my video, I have another video out there that talks more about PPCM. Gives a little bit more information on what it is, symptoms, and contributing factors as well. So, and there's quite a few out there. Check that out if you haven't had a chance to. But like I said, today I'm going to talk more about my experience because I had the symptoms, but then I had another symptom, which was really weird, which I'll talk about. So one of the symptoms was abdominal pain. I mean, really, I'm pregnant with twins. Who's not going to have abdominal pain, right? As a matter of fact, I had been having contractions for months. So I didn't notice that. It mimicked the pregnancy, some of these symptoms did. Fluid retention. I was on medication for months. One of the side effects was fluid retention. So I have no idea when it transitioned from just symptoms for that into symptoms for heart failure. But I had retention around my legs. As a matter of fact, my entire body was completely swollen. Heart palpitations. My husband took a video of me when I was sleeping one time. And he didn't show me, actually, he didn't show me until I talked to him about making this video. And I got kind of scared when I looked at it. I knew what I went through. I knew what it felt like. But when I saw the video of me where you could see my chest just pounding and it was just racing and it was a struggle. Every single breath was a struggle. And I knew I had a hard time breathing, but when you're awake, you're moving around, there's things you don't really notice. Fatigue. I mean, come on, really? Who's not going to be tired? You're carrying twins, right? If you're a mother of multiples, you are tired. As a matter of fact, my other child was 22 years old at the time, so it had been a while. I'm over 40-ish, and so I knew I was going to be tired. I understood that. I was the type of person, okay, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to push through this. Yeah, I'm older in age, but so what? I can do it. I'm strong. You know, in my mind, I'm telling myself, girl, you're a 4th degree black belt in Taekwondo. You can do this. Quit being a wimp. I wasn't trying to minimize the symptoms that I had so much as I wanted to try to overcome. I wanted to try to push forward. And some of these I just assumed they were as a result of the pregnancy or as a result of the medication. So I wasn't in denial. I just didn't realize that this even existed or it could be a thing, right? Oh, chest pains. Yes, you're going to have chest pains. But once again, I'm out of breath. I'm carrying all this weight. And then after the boys, I was still heavy because the swelling didn't go down. I just knew for a fact that after I had the boys, I was going to lose all that weight, and it didn't. I'm off the medication. It's been a week. Why not? So that's just some of the symptoms. But the one symptom that really didn't hit me is till I was in the hospital. I'll talk about that, and then I want to back up a little bit because it's really strange, and it's going to be tricky for me to explain. I remember I was still in the hospital after I had the boys, and it was maybe a day or so after. And when I would move in a certain direction to the right, or when I would go to the bathroom or go to get up or sit down, I could hear the blood flowing through my heart. I could hear my valves moving. I could hear the swooshing, almost like I was listening to an ultrasound of a child's heart. I could hear it. And so I told the doctor, I told the nurse, you know, the funny thing is nobody asked me about it. I would tell them about it, but whenever they came to check up on me, nobody would say, oh, how's that going? So I had to constantly let them know. And I'm sure it's just something that threw them off. You know, as it is, I'm not sleeping. I'm getting these micro naps in, so I'm not really here mentally. And so I don't know if they didn't take me seriously or if they just didn't understand what was going on. But for me to hear that, and I'll tell you, as soon as they got my condition under control, it stopped. going back to how it came about that I found out that I was in heart failure. I had all these symptoms. Now that I had the boys, I grew out of the bedroom, the bed and the chair, and I got to go into the living room because that's where the pack and play was. All I have to do is go a couple steps. I still wasn't at a point where I could take care of myself because I was so tired, I was so swollen, I was in pain, I could barely breathe, I wasn't sleeping. So I had to have a babysitter, and the babysitter was for me and the boys. And it got to the point where I'd go 2 steps and I couldn't breathe. I did think it was odd though that after I had the boys, after I was off the medication, why didn't I lose more weight? I only lost like 30 pounds in the hospital. And so I remember the day my sister-in-law was over, and she had told me that, you need to go to the hospital. And it wasn't convenient, I just had the boys. We've got the school. My husband's still got to run classes there. He's teaching everybody's classes, mine, his, everyone. So as it is, I still need someone to help us. We don't have time for me to go to the hospital. What if they try to keep me just for evaluation? I'll give it some time. So at this point, it had been about a week, and I got up to win a couple steps. I couldn't breathe much. I sat back down. After a while, I started coughing, and I was coughing up blood. Then at that point, I'm like, okay, I'll go. But I'm the type of person, okay, I got an emergency. Let me plan my emergency out. Okay, so if I'm going to do this, and I got to go to there, and I have to have this person come over here. So, I'm in my head, I'm planning all this out. And finally, when I started coughing up the blood, then I decided, okay, I'm going to go ahead and go. This is going to work out. My sister-in-law is here. We can call someone else in. They can come help watch the boys. Hopefully, they won't keep me. Then we can come back home, and we can have this all done within an hour or so, right? That's what's in my head. So, I really have a hard time getting up, though, and getting going. As a matter of fact, I had gotten stuck at one point, and my husband had to come help me up from sitting position because I couldn't breathe. And it could have been an anxiety attack because I knew now I'm going to the hospital because of this. It's real. Or it could have just been that I was just developing along. I don't know. The doctors do say that it was a good thing I did come in that at the time that I did. And so we did get to the hospital. They did tell me that I was in heart failure and that I was in kidney failure and that I had to stay in the hospital. I ended up staying in the hospital for 4 days. And of course, then I think, this isn't going to work. We don't have time for this. We got twin boys. First time dad is sitting over there having to go home all by himself with these boys. On a side note, to anyone who is in a situation similar to this, make sure you take any help that anyone wants to give you. I'll tell you what, we had the best friends, family, co-workers. People came out of the woodworks to help us. We were so blessed. I mean, even from the beginning, from the pregnancy and the baby showers and just everything, we were so, so blessed. Thank you to my friends, family, co-workers, our Taekwondo family. You all were amazing. Huge impact to all of us. And we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you, because there's no way we would have been able to keep moving forward the way we were. But at that point, I stayed in the hospital for 4 days. And I remember I had the results that I expected to have after I had the boys. They put me on Lasix, and within 4 days, actually it was only about 2.5 days, I lost 60 pounds. That's how much fluid retention I had me. And I was still losing weight as I walked out the door because I was still getting rid of the fluid. I could breathe better. It was so weird. I think I might have a picture. If I have the picture, if I can find it, I'm going to insert it. When you go to the hospital, now remember, I have no medical background. I'm not a nurse, anything like that, not a specialist, anything. So I don't know all the lingo. But when you go to the hospital and you are not moving around, you're in there for a long time. They do put something around your legs, and it vibrates, so it allows your legs to keep the blood flowing so you don't get blood clots, right? I had that on, and my legs were like this because they were shaped according to the wrap on my leg. So that's how much fluid retention I had. What? It was a huge, huge difference. Getting on the Lasix, I followed the diet, very bland diet. Nurses came in and they would come in like once, twice a week and check on me, check my heart rate. I had to check my heart rate every day, make sure everything was okay, my blood pressure, make sure everything was fine. I had to keep an eye on my weight to make sure I didn't gain any weight quickly, because that would be a sign of, the water retention again. So there were a lot of things I had to do. I was on medication for about a year. But thankfully, I am one of the people who actually did completely recover from this. There's no restrictions. I only had to see the doctor for a year, my year checkup, and then after that, I'm fine. Obviously, I need to keep, be careful. The one thing I didn't mention in the other video, they recommend that you never have any kids again because you could die. And to the point where my doctor pulled me aside, my OB, and he's like, listen, what do we need to do? Is he going to do something? You going to do something? What are you going to do? Because you can't have another child. Now, I have heard of other people having children afterwards, quite a few as a matter of fact. Obviously, it's a decision that would be up to you, but that was one thing that at my age anyway, I decided, yes, we're good. We got 2, we're good. I have 3 boys, so I'm good. I'm not going to wait around for a girl. But that was another thing that could affect me, as far as the rest of my life. When people hear about PPCM, they think that they're doomed for the rest of their life. And just know, you take a big control over this. It's up to you. What are you doing about your diet? What are you doing about your drinking? What are you doing about your salt intake? What are you doing about your exercise? Make sure you take care of yourself. Yes, you have to take care of the babies, but you have to take care of yourself first, because if you're not here, you can't do anything for them. So that was my experience with PPCM. I know I had mentioned before that I had gone into using some medication in order to stop my contractions, which camouflaged the PPCM, and I want to talk about that in another video and some of the complications that we had with our pregnancy. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. I want to thank you for tuning in. Please consider subscribing and give me a thumbs up. Like my boys say, give me thumbs up and watch my video. Thanks, everyone. I look forward to sharing additional adventures of multiples with you, and I hope you have a great one.